If a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, did it make a sound? How about if the Twins fall to the Mets before the smallest crowd in Target Field history, like they did Monday night? What does that sound like? It's more like a resounding thud for a team that hasn't won 2 games in a row in nearly 2 weeks. And even then, it was against the White Sox. What does an asterisk sound like? Find out, possibly, after getting Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Locked On Twins, your daily go-to source for the top Minnesota Twins insight, discourse, and analysis. Personally, it's my favorite show of the Imperial Locked On Podcast Network, which, by the way, brings you your team every day. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe where applicable. I'm Dave Brown, an MLB writer who likes to sound off against whatever it is the Twins are doing right now. I'm also a BBWA member and a Hall of Fame voter. Across the Great Plains of cyberspace is Brandon Warren, who sounds like he's about done with whatever the Twins are doing right now. Brandon was a Twins fan who became a Twins writer, and now he's both. You can't find us at Puckett's Pond anymore, but there's always Access Twins and zone coverage. On the podcast today, is this the low point of the season? How about now? Are we there yet? The pitching is okay, but the Twins can't hit, and they can't field. No wonder they can't get anyone to come to the ballpark to watch. They're 5-12, tying their worst start since 2016, the worst start of all time, actually, for the Twins, after falling 5-1 to the Mets on Monday. It's not good they couldn't win a Joe Ryan start, but when you get 3 hits, that's what you get. Aaron Gleeman notes it was the lowest attended home game for the Twins since April 30th, 2002, when they still played in the Metrodome, where there was no smoking and no people. And there might have been more Mets fans there last night than Twins fans. These attendance references, by the way, exclude the pandemic. We act like it didn't happen, so kind of like how we did when it was going on. So if you're looking for a bright spot, that's it. But first, know this. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when their first $5 bet wins. Get to FanDuel right now and start dueling with fans. It feels exactly like last year, shortstop Carlos Correa said in the Star Tribune, referencing the team's 12-27 finish to the season, and it's 5-12 beginning to this one. We have to figure out a way to bounce back and make sure this doesn't dictate the rest of the season. Now, Brandon and I have been loath to include whatever happened at the end of last season because, it's a brand new day and all that baloney. It's not exactly the same team. It's a new chapter, blah, 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 but it has felt just like last season ended. Is there, me and Carlos, are we crazy or what's going on here?
It should feel worse because it's a worse winning percentage than finishing that way. 5-12 is a .294 winning percentage, which extrapolated out, love that word, to a full season is 48 wins, which I guess would mean 114 losses.
I don't even want to begin the math there.
Positively White Soxian. I'm done kind of like trying to figure out why it's going this way and just ready to say, all right, if this is how you're going to play, that's fine. This is how you're going to represent the team. Go out and just be terrible. But I'm just at wit's end. Like, this team is so much more talented than this, and they're just pulling some of the most stupid mistakes that you see college players make. The throw that hit
college kids,
the throw that hit the runner in the hind end, and there's, you got Pete Alonso running home. You've got a chance, and I don't know. I guess my long rambling dissertation aside, I'm just kind of at a loss right now. And we can't have any more of those. So can't have any more losses. We'll have to figure this out.
No, I get it. Yes, I get it.
I feel like I had to explain it because it's I'm disenfranchised, which is what we need to pull that disenfranchised.
MLB tried that in 2002.
Right. Yep.
And the judge said, no, you have to play. All things considered, I think this might actually be the lowest point in Twins history since then. Considering, especially like 2 years ago, they won a playoff series, and the people were really excited about the team. So how far it's come crashing down since then, I think you can – the origins of it, it's not only the owners, the Polads, but, I mean, that's kind of sort of where it started with the beginning last year of the payroll cut or the payroll rollback and, not taking advantage of the obvious situation that the team was in as far as an opportunity to go back to the playoffs and maybe win another playoff series and all that. That seems like a million years ago at this point.
Well, what's the saying? Rolls downhill.
It's true.
And I think that's why, like, if you were trying to parcel out blame, and really there's no benefit to that, it's all for one for all. Nobody is like, you're not looking at anybody saying this guy has nothing to do with the struggles. It's a team effort. But like, it all begins and ends with the winning a playoff series, albeit a wild card series, getting that collective monkey off your back to basically just turn around and say, all right, that was enough. We're going to go back to basics, back to how we did things before. And like, it's not entirely apt. I mean, they did spend a bunch of money on Carlos Correa. And so it's not as though they've entirely stripped this thing down, but the optics from the top have destroyed it casts a pall, a shadow over anything the Twins are doing on the field, good, bad, or otherwise. Now, since it's bad on the field, it's just kind of like amplifying it. It's like a greenhouse effect or something where it's taking in all that suckage and then shooting it back up, but it's all being held in.
Rocco made a good point. I mean, it's not it's not a comforting point, but he made a good point when I think it was Dan Hayes asked the question. I don't remember what the question was, but the adjective or whatever the verb was frustrating. Is it frustrating that this had happened and this happened? And Rocco's like, it's not about whether it's frustrating. We are frustrated. It's whether you let that frustration affect you going forward or not. We can't allow that to happen. So what are you going to do about it?
It's exceptionally frustrating.
It's
That'd be a Rocco thing.
That's how he should have answered the question. Yes, it was exceptionally frustrating. But it's frustrating because the pitching has been good over the last 7 games. The starting pitchers have an ERA of 0.96, and they're 2-5 in those games, which is, I don't want to say impossible because they've done it, but it seems unlikely that would happen. They're averaging 3.29 runs per season. They make
no. It only feels like they're averaging 3.2 runs per season per game.
Per season. You're right.
No, I did.
How would you stretch that out over 162? Well, we scored in June, and then it was the 9th time last night in 17 games, so that's more than half, according to my math, that the Twins failed to score more than 2 runs in a game. So it's a little bit kind of like how we were talking about how their offense was last year. They had some good offensive moments, but then they would go forever. It seemed not scoring anything.
What was your time frame? Did you say the last 7 games? The starter
17 or what? 9th time in 17. If it was the 9th time, If it was the 9th time in the last 7 games, we got some real math problems.
Your point before that about starters have a 0.96 ERA over the last, was it 7 games?
In the last week of games, 7 games.
So last 7 games, Twins offense has hit 230. 209, 284, 347, a 631 OPS. They're averaging 2.71 runs a season per game. And they're not striking out as much as you might think, 23.2%, which is actually 13. So it's right around the middle. But they're just not hitting the ball hard. I just feel like there's so many lazy fly balls to left and right center and ground balls right to second base or right to shortstop.
Yes.
And it's just as much as you want to say it's baseball and things are going to change, I understand a certain level of hopelessness from fans who watch and live with the wins and losses, that there's just not a lot of reason to hope. Now, baseball in general doesn't give you a lot of reason to hope. It's not a hopeful kind of game. But I understand like the abandoned hope, all ye who enter here sign that is hanging over Target Field gates 34, 7, and whatever others, 14, 6. All those gates have that sign for a reason.
Only 4 teams have scored fewer runs. Only 6 teams have hit fewer home runs. Only 5 teams have drawn fewer walks. And just for good measure, only 3 teams have stolen fewer bases. I know they're not a base stealing kind of team, and I don't know how much it would help, honestly, if they tried to steal more bases, but maybe they should just try and take the extra base more often.
I was wondering. Can't steal first is the problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't steal first. They have, though, they have stole at a 7 for 9 rate. So at least when they're doing it, they're fairly efficient, but then that does tend to lead you to say, well, hey, maybe do a little more of that. Like, for instance, the Cubs lead MLB in 27 steals. They've only been caught 3 times, 90%. Like, if you can do anything even close to that, you should be exploiting that a lot, because I don't know what the exact break-even point is this time around, but I hear like you feel like you hear 70 to 75%. If you can be there, you're not hurting yourself, and the Twins are at 78-ish%. So yeah,
stop hurting yourself.
Yeah, right.
Well, speaking of exploitation, we need to take a break, and when we do, we'll come back and talk more about the Twins.
Sounds like a threat more than a promise there, Dave Brown. But the NBA playoffs are almost here. We got those play-in games coming up soon. My Timberwolves taking on the Lakers in round 1. Hopefully a changing of the guard there. But FanDuel is giving customers an incredible way to get in on the action, because right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets, basically free roll if your bet wins. So if you want to bet against the Twins, speaking of, that might be your option too, with where they're going right now. Yeah, exactly. I love how FanDuel, though, makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. From 3-pointers to steals to assists, stolen bases, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Or tomorrow. That's fine.
As soon as you can.
Well, the playoffs are going to be really going here, I think, in a week. So you got a little time, but not much.
I follow Connor Norby on Twitter.
I actually just started following him today. Is he a Minnesota sports fan?
I don't know. It sounds like a guy who might be from Minnesota. I don't know. Connor Norby up there from China.
That is true. He's from Brooklyn Park. Well, okay.
Oh, is he?
He was. I was not aware. He went to high school in North Carolina. Went to East Carolina University, which, believe it or not, is in one of the Carolinas. But he was born in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. So,
must be
depending on how long
fans.
Yeah, and so I've seen him talk about Timberwolves, and then I think also
he picked them to win. He picked them to beat the Lakers. He's like the only person who's picked the Wolves to beat the Lakers.
They're gonna beat the Lakers.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna beat the Lakers too. I mean, I'm not even paying attention, but I'm pretty sure. I've seen the Lakers play. So
yeah, Luka and whatnot, but they don't have any bigs. Anyway, Ben Beacon will have you covered on Locked On Wolves for that.
Right. So go there. No,
later. Not right now. Later.
So this, I was saying before, what's going on now kind of reminds me of the dark times. 2002. It was an extraordinary season for the Twins because they made the playoffs, didn't they? And they won a playoff series. And they got
01 was the year that a lot of things came to a head. They got really serious about possibly moving the team. And that team won, I think, 85 games, but finished second. Cleveland pulled away at the end. And then 02, Ron Gardenhire took over, and that was the first year they made the playoffs. And that was knocking out the Moneyball A's. And then 03, they lost to the eventual champion Angels. And then 04, they beat the Yankees in game 1 under Santana, but then didn't win another playoff game for something like, 18, 19 years.
They should have just brought Santana back in game 2. Why didn't you do that, Rocco?
Yeah, Rocco is a first-year player in
Tampa Bay.
Del Marva or some, who knows where.
Del Marva. So the Twins, they drew, as recently as 2019, they drew $2.29 million. and they got to 1.95 last year, averaged just over 24,000. People aren't going right now. Why should they? I mean, how else can people apply pressure to the team, the poll ads, but to not watch? The problem is the poll ads right now want to sell the team, and apparently they can't get a good price for it, according to them. So, like, even if firing the manager was something that would work, is what they need, is what they could do, the poll ads aren't interested in doing that because they don't care who the manager is. They just want to sell the team. And I don't think that the new owner, whoever that would be, cares if Rocco or whoever's managing right now, if they want to fire Rocco when they bought the team, they're going to do that. So who cares? They don't care. So it's funny. It's ironic. I don't know if it is ironic.
It's moronic.
It is moronic, but it's like there's nothing people can do about this. Don't go to the games. Don't watch on TV. Okay, it still doesn't matter. That's they're not gonna do anything about it. They're not gonna like add a bunch of salary and make some trades and try and get better. They're not gonna fire people. It's possible Falvey might do something, but like Brandon, is it too early to? Would it be completely disruptive and counterproductive to, let's say, get another hitting coach again? Change that.
I wanted to say, like, don't watch the Twins. The Twins took care of that last year. Like, the part of fan apathy that they still could do, they did last year. And so, frankly, it's just a downward spiral that, I don't even know, like, if they were to pull a rabbit out of their hat and make a big trade. I mean, again, now is not the time for so many reasons. Teams don't make big trades in April, etc. But the hypothetical big trade would be what, like Zach Gallen, and the Diamondbacks have no reason to move him. You don't really need that starting pitcher. Like there's not a lot of logistics in play here. That's not bringing back the fans that are away, because part of it too was it was a nasty, ripping cold, rainy, sleety, nasty, gross, nasty. I just keep saying nasty night at the ballpark last night. But you have to look at tickets sold. Only 10,000 tickets were sold. That was not souls in the building. That was tickets sold. People ahead of time, a long time ahead of time, decided that they were not going to that game. So people will say, oh, it was cold. Yeah, that's why it looked like there was 1,200 people there. But the fact that they still managed to sell only 10,000 tickets to, I don't know, what is it, the eighth home game of the season? And you right now, you look like a team, your record is that of a team playing for the number one pick in the NFL draft. I mean, it's easy to see why people have already checked out, and it's going to be very difficult to make them check back in short of some sort of, 12 of 13 stretch, or bringing back some of the casuals who think Rocco should be fired, as though he doesn't manage the team in much the same way a lot of actually successful managers this year run theirs as well.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, the Mets are a draw in that they're, it's a New York team, so there are Mets fans everywhere, and there were lots of Mets fans relative to
that. Might underscore the problem even further. What if it was the Rockies? Would there have been 7,500 people to buy tickets?
Yeah, you'd think that there were people there last night to see the Mets and to see some people interested in seeing Juan Soto.
Right.
So there were reasons to have people at the game last night that went beyond how the Twins are playing right now, and maybe it was the weather that kept them away. But so yeah, that's going to be like the last thing. I don't think we're going to see a big attendance push until let's just say the Twins turn this around and get going and win games and get up near first place and all that. It's going to be weeks, months if it happens. Yeah. So it's not really. That really isn't my concern so much as how the team's playing, because I think attendance to a certain extent and viewership will sort itself out when the team gets right. Maybe after it's sold. A lot of people have said, if you listen to what people say on the internet, I'm not going back until they sell the team.
If you sell
I think that's
they will come.
Yeah.
If you sell it, they will come.
So, I don't know if we can wish anybody into a cornfield, but other than the poll ads, but That probably would help if they did that. So let's take our last break, and when we do that, we'll come back and we'll talk more about it's Jackie Robinson Day.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that and maybe some things that are going right for the Twins and that we can sort of point to and pivot from. Maybe we'll get a better season going after this break, certainly.
I hope we don't run out of time. Baseball season is in full swing, and you know that all too painfully as a Twins fan, but there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports, because with Prize Picks, you pick more or less on at least 2 player stat projections, and if you're right, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash. You just find more risky ones versus less risky. You can mix and match. Whatever your risk tolerance is, Prize Picks can take care of you. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, Prize Picks keeps every game exciting. It's extremely fast and simple, too. You can set a lineup in less than a minute, and when you win, your payout is quick, safe, and secure. You get your money right away. And you can always take advantage of Taco Tuesday. I'll have you know, it's Tuesday right now. One of my favorite memories was that the preschool lady who used to help my daughter out of the car would say Happy Tuesday, and we always joked about that. So you can have a Happy Tuesday on Taco Tuesday with Prize Picks offering discounts on select player projections for even more value. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
We're running the game with the Twins. Locked On Twins, and they're 5-12. It'll be a little less bad today, the weather. I think it's sunny, supposed to be maybe a high of 55 in the Twin Cities. Not a lot of precipitation. It's Jackie Robinson Day. I'm just trying to get some people out to the ballpark. Well, presumably, it'll be a little busier than last night because of that.
Can I tell you one of my favorite Jackie Robinson Day stories? It's there's a guy who assists with the official scoring at Target Field named Barry, and his least favorite day every year is when he's helping, like they're coding the game for game day or whatever, and he's like 42 off and running, 42, and he's like struggling. And so when there's defensive replacements in games, he's beside himself. He would like legitimately prefer not to work that game because of how difficult it is. Now, again, that's not any sort of slight on the concept. It's funny to see a guy that into his job that is like, he just gets kind of grumpy by the fact that he's like using his binoculars all game long. And so we always used to give him a little hard time about that.
Yeah, there's no casually paying attention to a game on Jackie Robinson Day if you want to kind of know what's going on, because everybody's wearing 42. So it's kind of fun.
And we did look up the last player to wear number 42 for the Twins.
We did. Well, you did. And it's Mike Jackson, the relief pitcher. Yeah.
Big
famous
lady.
Mostly, I think, with like the Mariners and maybe Astros, but he was a Twin too.
He was pretty good that year too. That was that would have been, I think, 2003, but it was a year the Twins, they were still scraping the bargain bin a little bit, but he came through and had a pretty nice year for them. Not a lot of strikeouts, but pounded the zone, and the Twins had some really great bullpens back then. Eventually Joe Nathan, LaTroy Hawkins, though, before him. And Hawk has been kind of fun to have in the booth too. Speaking of a big proponent of Jackie Robinson Day, I love seeing and hearing what he has to say about all those players too. But it's a great day for baseball to recognize what's truly important, and also too just maybe a way to step back from the present disaster and just say, hey, a day with baseball is better than a day without it, and maybe just enjoy it for what it is, a pleasant distraction to all the crap going on out everywhere else.
Yeah, I think Jackie Robinson, what he means to baseball and America and the world is that everybody should get a chance. And, it's in a very positive way. It's inclusive of Major League Baseball to do something like this. So,
well, his footprint in KC should be pretty big too, right? Like you could speak to that.
For sure. Jackie Robinson played in Kansas City and didn't play with the Royals, played with the Kansas City Monarchs. But that was with Satchel Paige, who still has a house in Kansas City that, he doesn't live there, but the house is still there, and they're trying to turn that into basically a museum, or certainly preserve it historically speaking. So Minnesota, though, the Twins have their ties to history as far as that goes. Willie Mays played for the Minneapolis Millers in 1951 on his way up to the Giants, and had a lot of nice things to say about what it was like to play in Minneapolis in those days. So, and that was 51. The Twins' first black player was Jim Mudcat Grant, who died, I think, 4 years ago. And he was the first African-American Twins player. So there's a lot of there's history all over the place, and it's a good thing to remember, just because, like I said, Jackie Robinson means everybody got a chance to play. So it's
baseball is that great spider web uniting us. So I mean, there's ties everywhere. And by the way, the last player to wear 42 before Mike Jackson, Butch Husky, best known for running into the fence at the Metrodome wearing Back to the Future gear. But I think he was actually with the Mariners at the time. I don't think he was on the Twins anymore, which made it even funnier.
Yeah, what was that gimmick called? Forward the clock? It wasn't forward the clock, but it was something like that.
Turn ahead the clock? I don't know.
Turn the clock. Yeah.
Rock around.
Butch Husky, famous mostly for playing for the Mets. He was a Mets prospect. So maybe we'll have Butch Husky tonight at the game. I don't know. That was
if a player has ever been so aptly named, I'm not sure Butch Husky is. He's pretty high on the list.
So today on Jackie Robinson Day, we've got Tyler Lord. He's 6'7" versus Bailey Ober, who's 6'9". It's not even close to the tallest pitching matchup in Major League history, but it's up there and might be up there this year. So Megill has been pretty good with the Mets, but Bailey Ober had his best start of the year in his most recent outing, and we mentioned how good the starting pitching has been for the Twins. It probably will have to be good again, but maybe the bats will get something going against Tyler Megill. Edouard Julien was moved to the leadoff spot after making some adjustments against breaking pitches. He's done better against those. So I would say I don't think Edouard is quite where he was at maybe even the beginning of last year, and certainly in 2023. But he's certainly, if you want evidence that you can turn things around, and it's not it's darkest before the dawn, and it's going to get better tomorrow. He's it, because he's better than he was at the end of last year when he was horrendous. So,
well, and there's always going to be locking up on a called third strike when your approach is the same as his, or the way it is. And so it's like he had one of those last night where I was like, oh geez, here we go again. And he had he chased a few change-ups down. I felt like were kind of his kryptonite. So there's obviously things to work on, but absent a really good option to lead off this for this ball club, he's the best in terms of traditional skill set as far as taking his walks and all that. So I have no real gripe with it. Matt Wallner has really had an odd start to the season for me, because he is swinging through so many fastballs that I feel like he should be doing damage on. But his overall numbers, at least as of yesterday, were still pretty good. But I don't really know what to make of that, because if he doesn't hit fastballs, that's some Freaky Friday business with Eddie Julien maybe changing approaches with him. I don't know.
I saw one of the I can't name my Twitter follower who did a lot of work on this, but the fastballs up and in to Wallner have been a problem for a long time. So when he gets low is good to swing at for left-handed batters, but up, especially with a guy like Wallner of his size, he's not getting to those. So he's going to have to, I don't know if it's take more hit by pitches or lean into them or something.
He throttled high fastballs that first, not his first go round. He had that first go round where he slugged like 380 or like low slug. And then his first kind of breakout year, he crushed fastballs up, and then he's been really bad against them the last 2 years. So it's not that he's incapable, but it does remind you a little bit of like, yeah, he's hit lefties in the past, but what's the true talent level here? You know what I mean?
Right. For sure. what else is good news? Royce Lewis has gotten on the field. He's taking batting practice. He did once with the Saints, and also whenever the Twins take BP before the game, he's doing it too. Yesterday, he took infield practice with the team. So we're still talking about somebody who's weeks away, maybe a month away, maybe not that much, but something like that.
Scott Blewett claimed by the Orioles. Don't forget that.
Yeah, I was getting to that.
Sorry.
And so, but Lewis progressing to the point where he's doing baseball activities, and that's better than where he was. So, they certainly need his bat in the lineup, even though Brooks Lee was back and had an RBI in his first game playing third base. So the more the merrier. It's the Twins certainly need offense, and Royce Lewis should be able to provide that once he's back. So
the worst thing you can do is rush.
Not on the verge of coming back, but he's closer than he was optically a week ago.
Yeah, it'd be hard to not want to rush him based on how the team is playing, but you absolutely cannot do that.
Oh no, it isn't even hard. It isn't even that. It's not. There's no. Well, we got to get him back. And we're gonna cut a corner to do it. Absolutely not. No, Royce, take your time. Continue to. And also, like you mentioned, Scott Blewett. They blew it. The Blewett Warriors were afraid that he was going to leave, and the Orioles had picked him up. But he still doesn't have any options. So, and it's curious because he's got better major league numbers than he does in AAA. It doesn't make any sense, but that's just the nature of
the Orioles pitching staff stinks too. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, they needed him. So, but that's going to do it. Before we leave though, we want to thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Well, we're not going to make our 32 minutes. What do you think of that, Brandon?
It's okay.
It is okay. But for Brandon, this is Dave. Wishing you all a very pleasant good evening. Saying that we will Alexei Casilla tomorrow night.
All right. Hopefully after a win.
I'm not guaranteeing nothing.